would have come to this church, to this message in droves, and they still will. We will get this right, and they still will. The majority will leave this church, but every place made vacant by apostasy will be filled by those coming into the church. The ranks will not be diminished. Force is all-conquering, but its victory is short-lived. We've been scared by media, by disinformation, by cancellation, by intimidation, by regulation. We've been controlled. Travel, jobs, schools, access, information. We've been isolated, locked down in society, shut out from family, friends, and religious support. We've been deceived. False sites, rigged studies, no follow-up, money motivated. But God has been with us as we've stood for the truth. You know, if you refused to support the coercion and the mandating of this e-jab, if you resisted putting pressure on people or supporting others who put pressure on people to get the e-jab, if you resisted the false narrative that this was all about loving your neighbor, that getting the e-jab was more important than a conscientious obedience to God, if you resisted the heat that was ignited against you by corporate and personal media, including our own church media, against those who conscientiously refused the e-jab, the emergency experimental jab, then you pass the first test. You pass the first test. If you persecuted by your words, your actions, your ungodly reactions, those who disagreed with you regarding the e-jab, then you need to ask yourself, why? Why did you do that? Why did you support a cause mandating experimental emergency jabs on people who could not conscientiously take it? Why did you support the violation of the Geneva Code? Why did you do this? Was it ignorance? Ask yourself, did I knowingly do this because of the pressure of so-called science, because of family pressure, because of community pressure, because of peer pressure, or for money? Because we may yet recover. It is not too late. God has opened our eyes post-COVID pandemic to see, and sometimes hindsight is 20/20, and that can be good for us. Sometimes it's better to make a mistake than to be hesitating back and forth. At least when we make a mistake, we know, I made a mistake. And we still have a mediator in heaven. We still have a God who forgives. We still have a Lord who has a heart toward us. It's time to repent of our worldliness, of our pride, of our grasping, of our religious facade, of our hypocrisy, of our love for praise and money, and listen to what God says. Listen to the principles, because despite all the scientific evidence to the contrary, masking, mandating, lockdowns, and experimental emergency jabs are still believed to be what is needed to defeat the latest pandemic. They still believe that. There is no admission of failure, no recognition of untold harm, no effort to recover our liberty of conscience, crushed under the fear of panic and mass psychosis. So it is vital that we recognize the motive power behind these movements. Mandates, coercion, the power of force is not from God. It never has been. That's why we're in this great controversy. If you are at all confused about what just happened, or even a hair's breadth curious, open to reconsider this issue, just look at the principle of coercion and force that was used, that stood behind the e-jab. Because force is all-conquering, but its victories are short-lived. This is my Father's world. And let us ne'er forget that, oh, the wrong seems oh so strong, God is the ruler yet.